Now, there's lots of different ways we can interact with our audience. There's breakout rooms, for instance. Unfortunately, we can't use them today. There's also, polls on Zoom. You can ask people and assign polls beforehand. I think that's what you were maybe doing, Andrea, there. Was that
Yes,
right?
yes, exactly. Yeah.
With some polls. You can use the chat. So we've been using the chat function tonight, people commenting on there. You can also do other things like I've done as well. You can ask questions, throw questions out there, or get people to do a small activity on their own. The key thing is to know which ones to use, know which tools to use, depending on the audience you have in front of you. So let me give you a little visual to demonstrate this. There's a tipping point on Zoom, okay? And we are very close to that tipping point tonight. The tipping point is this. If you've got 50 people or less in your Zoom call, then that's a great number for having very open-ended interactions. However, if you've got more than 50 people in your Zoom call, then that's when interacting gets a little bit messy. If I asked, over 300 people in a Zoom call, what's your favorite caller on mute, I'm asking for mayhem there. So you have to be picky depending on which tool you use. So here's what I would advise. If you've got an audience of 50 plus, think about using the chat more. Get people to comment something in the chat. Get people to answer questions in the chat. Get them to interact or even just say where they're from, like we did at the start of this presentation in the chat. Give them something to do. Also polls, like Andrea says, use polls to your advantage. Ask questions in polls. Get people thinking about your topic through using that tool. Now, if you've got 50 or less, then that's when you can think about having open-ended questions. I've been asking lots of these tonight. You can also think about getting people to present. I gave you a few opportunities to do so as well. And just hearing someone else's voice can really, just disrupt the pattern and bring people's attention back. One thing I would say, I think the best feature of Zoom for interaction is actually breakout rooms. And this one down here is something you can use in all sizes of presentation. If you've got 300 people, 1,000 people, it can work well if you've got enough rooms. If you've got 50 or less, it can also work great. Because what breakout rooms does is that it gives you the opportunity to share ideas in a smaller group. Some of you might not want to unmute right now and share in front of 40 people, but you might feel a lot more comfortable sharing in front of 3. Now, unfortunately, we can't use them tonight, but think about using these in your presentations. They are an amazing asset for anyone who is presenting.